In one family, no marriage ever lasted beyond 3 years, and no one could explain why. Every woman who married into Ogonna's bloodline lost her husband the same way. Not once, not twice, but for generations. And yet, the most beautiful women in the village all came from that same family. People admired them but feared them, because beauty and loss seemed to follow them like a shadow. And now, it was Ogonna's turn to live the same story. For years, there was a pattern in Ogonna's family, a pattern no one in the village liked to speak about for too long. Every woman in her lineage experienced the same thing. After 3 years of marriage, the husbands were gone. No one could explain it clearly. It just kept repeating. Ogonna's great-grandmother lived it first, then her grandmother, then her mother. Same story, same ending. And as if it wasn't enough, there was another pattern. They only gave birth to daughters. No sons, no siblings, no balance in the home. Just one girl carrying the whole weight of a family line. Ogonna grew up inside that story. She barely knew her father. And just like the women before her, she was an only child. Beautiful but surrounded by questions no one could answer. In the village, her beauty was known everywhere. Men chased her, women whispered about her. But behind every admiration, there was fear because people remembered her family. And some would say, she is beautiful but unlucky. Owana heard it even when she pretended not to. One morning, she went to the stream to bath. The water was calm, but her mind was not. At the river bank, she overheard young girls laughing. She is fine, but who will stay with her? Every man in that family never lasts. Ogonna said nothing. She only stepped into the water quietly, as if trying to wash off words she didn't choose. But that day, something changed inside her. When she returned home, she asked her mother a question she had carried for years. Why does every man in our family leave after 3 years? And why do we always give birth to only daughters? Her mother went silent, not because she didn't know, but because some truths feel heavier when spoken. Finally, she said, there is something I must tell you, something that stayed long before you were born. And then she told her the story of a woman in their lineage, a woman so beautiful the village spoke of her like a crown, but pride lived inside that beauty. One day, a woman came to the village, simple, quiet, only asking for kindness, but the foremother mocked her. She humiliated her in front of others, laughed at her pain, and sent her away with shame. Before the woman left, she spoke words that were not loud but heavy. Your beauty will remain, but peace will not stay in your line. What you build will not last in men's hands. No man shall live alive in your lineage. No child of yours shall give birth to more than one child. And if it's a male child, he shall die. But if it's a female child, she shall live, but no husband of hers will live. Ogonna's mother finished the story with trembling breath, and since that day, the pattern began. Ogonna went silent. Fear tried to rise in her heart, but something deeper was already there. Faith. That night, she did not cry in confusion. She knelt for the first time. She did not pray like someone begging to understand suffering. She prayed like someone placing her life in God's hands. Lord, if there's anything in my lineage that is not of you, I surrender it. If there is fear written into my name, bewrite me. Days passed and then years. Ogonna met Shola, and from the beginning, he was different. He did not run from her story. He did not fear her questions. Because Ogonna always asked him softly, are you not scared of what my family carries? Ajola would smile. I'm not called to fear your past. I'm called to walk with you into your future. And he stayed. When whispers came, he stayed. When silence tried to grow between them, he stayed. When Ogonda herself doubted, he stayed. And something began to shift. Not because the story changed overnight, but because faith started to replace fear. Ogonna stopped living like a woman waiting for loss. She started living like a daughter of God. Years later, they got married, and the village watched carefully, waiting for history to repeat itself. 3 years passed, nothing broke. 5 years, still no collapse. 10 years, life only grew, and Obona began to understand something. Not every pattern is a prison. Some are just stories, waiting for faith to interrupt them. They built a home filled with laughter, prayer, and peace, and God blessed them with 4 children, 2 girls, two boys. One evening, Ogonna sat outside with Shola. She looked at him and asked softly, "Are you not still scared?" Shola shook his head. "No." Then he added, "Because I didn't marry a curse. I married a woman God is still writing." And Ogonna smiled, not as a girl the village once pitied, but as a woman who learned that in God, no story is final unless you stop believing. They lived happily together.